First new episode of 2022, and I'm enjoying a game that most gamers collectively would agree that I should not enjoy as much as I am. But here we are, in the new episode of Play and Tell. So, welcome back to another episode of Play and Tell. I'm your host, Xander Skullion, where I talk about games I've been playing and leave little short impressions and mini reviews. And most importantly, when you walk away, you have something new to play. Contra Roadcore was a game that many fans, including myself, was excited about until we initially saw the game itself. Let's not be coy that Konami has had a very interesting track record in the last couple of years, but I digress. I'm not here to slam Konami. And this Contra game takes place 2 years after an alien war and you join a ragtag group to save the world. Honestly, the story is nothing to write home about, and it looks almost like it was originally going to be a mobile game down to the hub world, but it's like they decided at the last minute that it should come out to consoles and PC. Now, the game I got for super cheap, like $3 cheap on the eShop, so maybe I'm a little biased that I didn't spend the initial $29.99 price tag when it was released, but I have to say, I actually like it. It's not an amazing game, and it kind of almost feels like a more polished early PlayStation 1 game. The graphics are kind of bland. The voice acting is trying to be funny and edgy, but kind of missed the mark. But the twin-stick shooting action is not that at all. It's very arcade-like, and it's a very easy pick-up-and-play game, and has some amazing boss battles. I kept telling myself, why is this so good? It's not amazing, but it's good. Since I heard so many hate the game, listen, if you think you're playing a new Contra game that has that nostalgia Konami code action, you're going to be disappointed. But if you find it cheap and go with it with a budget game in mind, you might be like me and actually not hate it. $3 is not too bad. Hell, I would even pay $10 for this. I definitely feel like it's worth that price tag.
Serious damage to whatever you chuck it at. Use your bomb. Bounce away.
Demon's Tilt Turbo Pinball is back for the old school fans. You'll notice it's a tribute for games like Devil's Crush from the TurboGrafx 16, but now updated with bigger sprites, more baddies, more secrets, and of course, more bullets. Demon's Tilt pushes the limits of video pinball genre with shmup and hack and slash elements. This was a title I had under my radar for a while, and a recent eShop sale for $7.99, I had to jump on it. The table features the 3-story table. From the moment I played it, I loved the ball physics and the intense special moves. While it's a pinball game through and through, this is not a traditional pinball game that players with the usual average capacity of a typical pinball game. But once you look at it more as a bullet hell, it all starts to kind of fall into place and you kind of get that little groove and you're going to have a good time. It's a game I can play for a couple of minutes or a couple of hours, and the FM style soundtrack is beyond rocking and ball rolling. Demon's Tilt is also on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and on Steam, and I highly recommend you folks check this game out, especially if you find it for a good price. Now, the next game I want to talk about is kind of controversial, okay? I know there's a lot of, JRPG snobs that absolutely hate these ports, but I saw a physical copy for $40 on Amazon, and, I had to get it. And that is Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I'll go ahead and say these aren't the best ports. Graphically, they do look a little ugly because, they were originally mobile games, these ports. And you can tell, especially Dragon Quest 1, because the aspect ratio is really stretched. I feel like it does look better as you progress through the other games in the collection, especially Dragon Quest 3 looks a lot better than, say, the first Dragon Quest. But, I had to get this. You guys know I'm not... I don't have any sort of partiality towards physical or digital media because they're all video games. I'm going to be playing them on a TV regardless. But, there are some games I would like to have physically and add to the collection. And, I no longer have my original Dragon Warrior 1, 2, and 3 on the NES, so I was like, it'd be nice to have, some sort of physical copy, because Dragon Quest is a big part of my childhood. I mean, the Dragon Warrior game on the NES, it was the game that encouraged me to learn how to read. No kidding. I have a really interesting video I made a while back. You guys can check on that. But, as what it is for $40, it's not bad. It's really not. And I would still recommend this to folks who want to get into the JRPG genre. I think these would be great games. Maybe not the first one. The first one's kind of a grind fest, and that battle music it's very looping. I think that's the best way to describe it. But it's a good collection. It was my birthday last month, and I was like, this is going to be my birthday gift. Is Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. You can get it on Amazon for $40. It's really not that bad, and I highly recommend it. Now, this is a gem of a curious case of EA's Japanese branch, putting out an arcade fighter that brings an exclusive home version for the Sega Saturn. Rabbit features a 4-button combat system, and pressing certain buttons together can summon your animal spirit, which was mapped to a 5th button on the home release. While the game features dodges, recovery rolls, ground hits, deflection, dashes, and hops, the animal spirit is the real focus here. By dealing and receiving damage, the player's bar will build over time, and once it's fulfilled, the player can summon their animal spirit and use it to execute special or super moves. Defeat a character in arcade, and you'll gain access to their animal spirit, allowing you to summon and use them. So say a player is starting out with the rabbit and gain the snake in the first match, you can actually use both movesets in the second match, which encourages players to learn all the animal spirits, and it gives you more options. Now in Versus mode, you have access to all the animal spirits for each character, and it's an interesting concept, despite the game looking a bit cutesy. From a visual standpoint, Rabbit is also really interesting because it features that zoom in and zoom out that we saw with a lot of SNK titles from that era. It's a very different kind of fighting game, and it's definitely something that if you have any way to emulate it, or maybe if you're lucky enough to find a cheap copy on the Sega Saturn, definitely check this game out. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, guys, what have you been playing? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear some of your recommendations that you have. What have you gotten over the holiday? What have you been playing? I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, but also hit that bell so you're notified on all future videos that come out on this channel. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And as always, happy gaming.